All right, everyone, here's the parts and the pieces to the shoulder rig that I had originally built for myself that everybody had seen earlier in the video. I've laid everything out to kind of give you an idea where all the parts are, what you're going to need, and we'll go into the assembly here in just a few minutes. We went through everything out, laid everything out from the handle to the main frame down to the shoulder, the shoulder harness that goes over your shoulder. We have two plates. They're 4-inch metal electrical plates that we're going to drill. One will be used for the mount on your tripod. The other will be used for the mount of the camera. To bolt them on, I've got 8 32-inch-and-a-half bolts with nuts. They're machine grade, and I've picked everything up that I have here at Lowe's. Not a plug for them, just to let you know where I got everything. And then what we'll do is we'll go through the measurements on the assembly, and this is everything that's laid out here, so you'll have an idea of what you need, and we'll go from there. Right now what we'll do is go over the parts. I have 2 electrical turn downs with bell fittings. Those are 3/4 inch. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 90-degree 3/4 inch elbows. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the 3-way slip couplings for 3/4 inch. I have, then this is the trick, this is what I really liked on mine is the P-trap handle. Now these don't come in 3/4 inch, these come in 1/2 inch, but it made a real slick look to my rig. It just, instead of just going with the turn downs, it kind of adds that little bit extra professionalism once you put on. These are 1/2 inch P-traps. Then I've got the handles. Now these are modified to the grips you're going to get and to the size of your hands. I've got these at 5.5 inches, and then the bike grip just slipped right over those. Now these are going to be 1/2 inch because they're going to meet up with your 1/2 inch P-traps. They're going to go to 3/4 to the 1/2 inch. Actually, excuse me, it'll go from the P-trap to your handle. So what this is, the P-trap will go in, you'll see that on assembly, and then the handles will go into the P-trap. Now on the handle part itself, on across the front here, you could modify this however wide your grip is, to modify it to fit your monitor, modify it to fit microphone, anything like that. Now I'm going to build it in with the turn down for the monitor, and then I'm going to show you how I put the monitor in place and everything else. It's as simple enough as it is. And then I did not put my microphone mount on it because I really wasn't happy with how I did my microphone mount. It'll work, but I could have done a little bit more modification, so I'm going to leave that out so you have an opportunity to modify that yourself. So here's the pieces and the parts. Once again, we'll cover it. I've got the turn downs for your shoulder. I've got the plates. It's going to be for the tripod and your camera. I've got the machine bolts. I've got the pieces already pre-cut. I assume that if you're going to go this far to build this rig, you'll know how to cut the pipe. I suggest you get a pipe cutter. If you're dead on with a hacksaw, that's fine. If you're a little bit off with a hacksaw, it's fine, but just make cleaner pieces with a pipe cutter. Got all the pieces cut and ready to assemble. Okay, now let's get into the assembly of this and let's see what we can come up with. I'll be demonstrating on the mounting of the plates a little bit later. Right now we're just going to concentrate on getting this frame built. I started with the inner frame to give me a place to work with, and then I moved out to do my handles and everything else. Simple enough. 2 pipes for your frame are 9 inches in length. Slide them on, put the couplings on each end first, and get those in place. Now you'll notice as they go along, they're not going to ride very good. Thing is, we'll be able to push down on those and get everything leveled out. Now it's going to be important right before you go to gluing this together to make sure everything's in place. We'll go ahead and insert our center pieces here. Get those in place, simple enough. Let's go ahead and lock them in. Now what I did as I modified this thing to make sure my fit was good, I went ahead and just laid my plate on there to make sure that I was still in position with everything, so I knew that I was right on the money. Like I said, these are 4-inch plates, so your diameter is going to be, or your width is going to be 4 inches there. Go ahead and lay the pieces in for the handle, and put these this interlocking piece in between your two couplings here, and then we'll go ahead and assemble this way. Simple enough, should be. Actually, I tightened those up too much, so we'll just put this on here. Now this is, once you get all your pieces done, I suggest a test fitting, because when you start going to glue this together, PVC pipe glue is not very patient. It's going to stick right quick, and you're going to be cutting pieces off or going back to the store and buying other pieces. And as we all trying to do, the reason we're making our own equipment is trying to save money, and you can't save money running back and forth to the store. We got our main frame built for our rig. Make sure everything's level. Make sure you got a good hard working surface you can mash down. Make sure everything's in place. We'll go ahead and start assembling everything here on the handle. Put these in place. Now this is going to be your turn down for your monitor. You could go with a 3/4 inch and then a 1/2 inch turn down to make it a little bit lighter, or you could build the entire frame at a 1/2 inch. I use 3/4 inch because we're frugal, and I had this on hand. Another thing that I did, mainly for demonstration purposes, is I went and I sanded down each end of the pipe so we can assemble it here without me doing a whole lot of banging and messing around. Now, we've got this in place. The next thing to do is go ahead and put your 90-degree turn downs on for your handle. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take the P-trap and we're going to put this in place and get them ready to put in there. Now what I want to do is let's take the opportunity and work on the shoulder piece. So what we're going to do is, depending on if you're left-handed or right-handed, what side you're going to mount your monitor on. Of course, I mounted mine on this side due to the fact that I had my camera, my monitor on my camera opened up, my LCD screen opened up off the side of the camera, so that worked out real good for me to have that in that position. So we'll go ahead and get this turned over, get this into place a little bit better here, and we'll start on the shoulder piece. All these pieces slide in fairly easy without any problems, and then you put your short pieces here and your turn downs, and then go ahead and assemble the center piece for the turn down in the back. Now, as I said, as you go along, you're going to be modifying this thing to work out for your benefit. In the back of this, if you want to, you can make arrangements for your mounting of a battery pack, counterweights, anything like that. As of right now, I've used mine in just some field tests. I haven't had any reason for counterweight, especially since I built the bar, as you saw in my earlier version of my rig, to kind of hold this thing up. Now we've got this in place. Now comes the cool part of this, working with the handles. And you really want to really offset this thing with a cool look. I would suggest going with the P-trap. The P-trap really shows a good look. Well, look at this. I'm going to be putting these in upside down on there. But it offers a really nice look for this, and then it really just offsets it, makes it look a little bit more professional. And you just get these to turn down with the rig with the points out. And of course it's going to be a little loose due to the fact that I'm not gluing it for this demonstration. And then we'll put the handles in here, and there you go. Like I said, the handles in the front are 5.5 inches, should be. That's what I did for mine, because that was the bike handle slid right over that. Not a problem whatsoever. So right now, you know, like I said, we're putting this together. We're doing some test fitting. We're getting an opportunity to really see how this looks. So we're going to back out here just a little bit with the remote, and you kind of get an idea of how this is going to look. It's a real easy piece. The only thing that you're going to fight on this is once we start putting in the plates for the mounts, but you get an idea of how this thing looks. Real simple feel, real easy to put together. This is my turn down for my monitor. I've got it put into place right here. I'll tighten this up a little bit so you can see it. But you got your turn down for your handle here, and then you can put in a plate. And depending on what size your monitor is, you just come down. I put in a plate of plexiglass and went straight into the piece of pipe, drilled it in, and put the plexiglass right on there, leveled it out, and then of course put a mounting piece underneath for the bolt of my monitor. So this is the assembly look of the rig. It would help if I backed out just a little bit. This is the assembly piece of the rig as a whole, and what we'll do now is we'll get ready to start drilling the pieces for the top frame for your mounts. And now how these are going to go is, and you'll see as we progress through this on the final assembly, is that they'll go directly under each other. And that way, when you drill your hole, you'll go all the way through, and your bolt will be holding not only the top, but the bottom as well. And then we'll go ahead and get into those pieces as they're drilled, and we'll go from there. Okay, now that we got this drilled, I got it in place, and I got everything laid out here. We got the top plate. Just simply turn it over here, lay it down flat, get your pieces in place here. Just work this, get it into place. Like this. That driver really works good on this, to be able to tighten everything up. Since we're not glued everything in place and we're not tightened up here yet, we'll just roll this back over, give you an idea of what it'll look like here. So once you get everything into place, get everything modified. Now, I didn't drill the holes in this plate or the plate underneath due to the fact that me doing that in your camera rig be totally different. Then that's, that would be something that you'd have to modify on your end to be able to get it to make it to work for your camera mount, for your tripod mount, and for your camera. But overall, here is your simple frame. Here's your shoulder rig, ready to go. Modifications, you have to put some modifications in place to really make this thing work, and just go into place. Like I said, it's not glued in, so have some patience with me here. But you have your look. You can put your padding on it. You get your holes drilled for your camera mount. Get your holes drilled for your tripod, and you're ready to rock and roll. Some handlebar grips, and you're ready to go. Of course, we go with the black, a little bit more professional look on the black. Paint it any color you want to, and put the padding in the back. Now, one thing I will show you, and we'll close out by showing you my rig once again. But here in the back, in the padding, I had access to some plexiglass now, or some poly glass that you could get at Lowe's. The thing about that is that to buy a big section is really not worth it. You can go in, you can get a poster frame, like an 8x10 poster frame, or 11x13, or 10.5 by 13, however, and cut that piece out fairly easy. And then what I did was I pop riveted the plate in and then glued my sponge or my polyurethane mount padding right to that with just some spray glue, and it worked out great. And as you saw on my rig, and like I said, we'll close out with my rig so you can get a better idea of what I'm talking about. But I really appreciate all the comments I got on my rig. As I promised, I wanted to show you an assembly of this rig, show you the parts and the pieces, to show you how easy it is, and it's definitely a DIY project. And you make it work, do the modifications that you need, and I really hope you enjoy it. But let's take and close out. We're taking a last look at my rig, and I hope you enjoyed this video. All right, folks, here's the rig that I put together, and with my modifications on it and everything else. Gives you an idea of really where you could go with yours, your rig, and really come up with something really nice. As I said, you've got the P-trap handles. I just think this is a cool piece. It just may be me. Instead of just going with the 90-degree turn downs and running the pipes down to the side here, I really think that this is a better opportunity to make a little bit more professional rig. I got my mat box on here. I made a hard mount mat box because, as some of you have seen, I've got a teleprompter pad that I put in here with my mirror, and then I mount my camera right here, of course, and then you see my monitor off and down to the side. Really gives you a good look. You still have this point of view to look at your actor or your subject that you're shooting. You've still got a broad view that you can get around your camera, and of course your camera mounts here. Now, one thing I want to point out to you here, and I want you to take a look at it, is that a friend of mine made a suggestion when he was looking at my rig. He really thought it was a neat piece, but let's take a look at what I've added to it real quick. I went with a level. All it is a string level that I got from, once again, Lowe's, not promoting them or pushing them in any way. It's just what we have here available to shop at. He said that it's the only thing that he thought that was missing. When you got this thing on your shoulder, you're running, gunning, and you're shooting a lot of stuff, and you get back in post, and I'm sure that some of us have done it before, and everything's countered to the left or to the right. This gives you the opportunity to mount this thing level, get it up on your shoulder, and have an idea of where this thing's at when it's on your shoulder compared to the surface that you're shooting from. Cool little modification. I've used it. Really works out good. It's a fun little piece to have on there. Again, adds that professionalism to it, and just an overall good look. And now I painted this, as you can see the shine on it. I've painted this with a Rust-Oleum lacquer. It smells pretty good once you get it put on there, and I'm being facetious, of course, but it's got a real strong odor to it. I would suggest if you got a garage to work in, shop to be able to put this in, or wait till the weather's a little bit better and do it outside. Now this right here, I put a vinyl like a vinyl material on it, like a decal that you'd see on a race car or anything like that. Just black sheet of vinyl, laid it on there, cut my pieces out and laid it on. This box is built out of foam. I did a foam mat box. It's just like the foam boards that you'd have for science projects or business, meetings or anything to do presentations on. Same thing with my hood for my monitor. Made it out of the styrofoam board, cut it, coated it in the vinyl as well. Thanks, guys. I really appreciate you taking the opportunity and watching the assembly of this and the comments that were made once again. And if you will, check it out. And if we come up with anything else cool and neat that you guys like, I'll definitely put it on here. And thanks again, and y'all have a wonderful afternoon.